My name is Phixfox, and welcome to the fheroes2 Patch Note Rundown. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to come back here for another fheroes2 Patch Note Rundown. I missed May of 2026, and since that time, it's now been the June 30th patch of 2026, so we have not one but two fheroes2 Patch Note Rundowns to go through. Let's make this happen. So starting off from Ihar. Dear fans of the fheroes2 project, after a month of development, we are happy to release a new version of the fheroes2 engine, patch 1.1.16. This release is heavily focused on the editor, based on feedback from our community map makers to help them perfect their creations. First of all, the editor now supports drag to draw functionality for roads and streams. This greatly improves usability compared to the previous click to place approach and is especially useful on touchscreen devices. I wish I had a touchscreen device to play with this more because it makes so much sense, folks. Before, you had to click and click and click and click in order to build a stream, and it didn't always go the way you wanted. And before, you had this neat little feature from the fheroes2 team where you could just undo, right? Like, it was a chore, but now you can left click, hold, and then drag. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, it's so easy. And it has the added benefit of making this neat little dragon scale pattern when you completely fill up a little section here. Now, dragon scale, daisy chain, I don't know, you can call this whatever you want to, but it almost looks like this shouldn't be passable terrain for heroes, but it totally is. Heroes can be placed there. You can't do certain things like artifacts that need to be dug up. You can't put an ultimate artifact on there, but it's kind of interesting the way that I was able to put all of these streams in here together when typically it would take quite a bit longer. Likewise, with the roads, it used to be the same basic deal. Oh, from these pikemen to go see their brother, you got to go all the way up here and click and click and click and yada, yada, yada. Oh, the path is blocked. But now you can just click and drag wherever you want it. It's going to be path that way, path this way, etc., etc. As I do my limit testing and I see all this with the streams, I had to do the same thing here with the roads, and something interesting happens. Try as I might, going north and south doesn't really work if I'm trying to fill all this up. Something about the coding means that it's always going to be roads that go from east to west. That's funny to me, that's interesting to me, and that doesn't bother me at all. It's just like one of those things where I'm like, if I was a smarter person and I knew the coding, I would understand why that works. I don't, so I'm not going to worry about it. Moving on. So then, back to the Discord. Secondly, map makers can now move individual objects on the map. This was a highly requested feature that was missing even in the original editor. It allows quick adjustments to existing landscapes without having to rebuild them from scratch. In addition, the editor now supports object copying, making it easier to reuse action object setups and avoid repeatedly searching for objects in the editor. I want to call out the fheroes2 team here for a second. Highly requested feature. It was missing even from the original editor. Folks, if you've been following the fheroes2 patch note updates, then you understand that they've added tons and tons of features that were not in the original map editor for Heroes of Might and Magic 2 Gold. They are underselling themselves here with this little statement, and I want to tell them to stop it. Stand in your greatness. Don't be down on yourselves. Just, you're awesome. And just, I need you to be like bold like a lion and just admit that you're awesome, please. Okay. But two crazy things here have now been added on top of everything else that's been out there. Moving objects and copying objects. Here we go, folks. So first off, if you go here to this upper right corner, this is the button that was typically reserved for editing interactable objects or units or whatever. So for example, I click here and we're on this edit function and I click on these pikemen. Well, I can adjust how many pikemen I want there to be. I can be minimum, maximum, etc., etc. Whoa, maximum is a lot. Let's not do that. But this used to be the only thing in this little square here. But now there's two other features. Aside from edit, where you edit objects on the adventure map, we now have move and copy. Move does exactly what you think it would do, pretty much exactly how you would think you would do it. Whatever you mouse over, that object is going to have a new interactable dialog box. And then wherever you click and drag and drop, it's now going to move the object from there to there. So why is this valuable? Folks, this rock that was right here in the way, it's not in the way anymore, right? I changed my mind as a map maker and I said, you know what? I wanted that there. I wanted this to be like a pass that was like you couldn't get through. And I was like, you know what, that's not great map design. I do want to make just a little bit of a feature. Oh, you know what, I want to go to passability. Yeah, when I turn on passability, I can see here, oh, it's not passable terrain, this is passable. I'm trying to make the perfect map. Okay, this is completely impassable. I do just want this one little corner here, etc., etc. I've just moved things over in the nicest way. Hopefully you can see how valuable this is. Map makers are rejoicing everywhere for this move function. By the way, it works for anything, truly. So yeah, units, artifacts, yeah, whatever the case is, folks, it will move it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Likewise, you can now copy. If you go right next to that, there's the move in the middle, and then to the right of that is copy. When that is highlighted, you now left click, you drag, and instead of opening up a dialog box and eliminating this original one and placing a new one there, you've now just created something new. That's good for mountains. That's good for trees. That's good for flowers. That's good for units. That's good for all sorts of things. And that is a lovely thing. I can't imagine how happy map makers are right now. I wish I was a better map maker. In fact, this is making it so maybe even I can make maps, and I'm not a very good map maker. I'm just saying. Okay, moving on. Okay, the editor and the game now also allow objects to be placed beyond the edges of the map, enabling more unique landscapes and creating the feeling that the map is part of a much larger world. Folks, this is actually a really wonderful feature, because in the past what you had to do, for example, right here, if I was trying to move this mountain, let's say this mountain right here, I just copy and I paste it. Okay, and then I'm just going to move this mountain up to the corner here. Now I can place it where there's just a little bit of the mountain range available. Before I had to place it right about here. And as you can see, there's like little holes in the back, right? There's sections here that just can't really be adjusted because, hey, this has to stay here. But now that I've moved this down, right? There's a section back here, and I would sometimes go back and I'd fill this in with like rocks. I would find like the snow rocks, and I would just try to fill in behind this to try to make it look like it was normal. Now being able to just move these off of the map and have them just part of this larger map, it's wonderful. You can't put mountains on water, or anything that shouldn't be on water shouldn't go on water. And then, for example, actionable items like towns and villages, castles, dwellings, anything that is interactable, you can't move that off the edge of the map. But anything that is terrain or, you know, mountains and inanimate objects, those things can be moved. It's really cool to help make your map really come alive in some high quality Bob Ross for you. Alrighty, folks. And with that, there's a final section here. Map makers can now choose which ultimate artifact to bury. That is a big improvement, because in the past you couldn't do that either. So that is pretty darn simple. This is going to use the other feature from this editor box. Let's just make ourselves a little bit of a hole here, because this is currently impassable terrain. There you go. And we're going to go back over to artifacts. We're going to go to the very bottom, random ultimate artifact, and I can make it so it's no longer random. Edit the ultimate artifact, choose what the radius is. It'll randomly spawn within this radius. And now I can click select artifacts, and I can say, oh, it's going to be the ultimate book of knowledge, or it's not going to be the ultimate book of knowledge. Best way of doing this is to use this other feature that we've seen in previous fheroes2 updates. You click on this, and this says nothing will spawn, except for the ultimate sword of dominion, ultimate cloak of protection. Why is this useful? You can tailor your maps to say you can find an ultimate artifact, but it will only be a might-based artifact, or likewise, alternatively, it will only be a magic artifact. And there's some value there. There really is some value there. You can even do it to where you can say it's going to be the ultimate crown, and then you can potentially, I believe, make a special victory condition, find a specific artifact, and then just find that exact one, ultimate crown. Would that not work? I am pretty darn sure that that will work, folks. I'm going to operate under the belief that that'll work. So, wonderful way of making this happen. Very good. Good job, fheroes2 team. Another win. Another W in the win column. Alrighty. And then back we go here. Besides the editor improvements, the team sped up application startup time, added Esperanto language support, fixed hero turning animation speed, updated multiple translations, and closed over 20 issues since the last release. Thank you very much for your continued support, and we hope you enjoy the updated version of the engine. Folks, I hope that you've been enjoying this for the last month or so. And now we must go into the brand new patch here from June 30th. As if that wasn't enough, from Ihar. Dear Heroes of Might and Magic 2 players and the fheroes2 project supporters, today is the new version of the fheroes2 engine 1.1.17. This release touches on nearly every aspect of the game and introduces a truly unique feature. Let's start with the highlight of this release, the auto playtest feature for the editor. Map makers can now automatically test their maps for balance, observe AI behavior, or simply watch the gameplay of their own creations without interruptions. Moreover, scrolling among all objects in a group using the mouse wheel was added as well in the editor. So the scrolling, I don't think I need to highlight that. I think you know kind of what that means. You can now use your scroll on your wheel. The auto playtest though, that's pretty insane. Folks, I have set up this map so it should be playable. We have an orange hero and a yellow town. We have an orange town and a yellow hero. And yeah, they should be able to just kind of make this happen. We go here into this save file. You can always go new map, load map, start map, etc., etc. We could start the map from this point. I choose not to. Instead, we can click auto playtest. And I've never seen this before, so I'm right here along with you for the first time. Auto playtest. Yeah, I'm just gonna save the current version of the map. I'm just gonna say this is my map. Yeah, overwrite. I don't even care. Okay. Auto playtest, number of playthroughs. Oh, number of playthroughs. What? I'm just going to do 2 for now because I'm not sure what it means by playthroughs. Okay. All right. Max days per playthrough. Let's just say it's like going to be the first 30 days. You know what? Let's just say the first week. Let's just say we're trying to get a nice tight AI in the first 7 days. Just make sure it goes. We'll do the animation speed. I don't want it to be too fast. Sound effects. Yes. Yes. Left clicking at any point will interrupt the playtest. All right. And I hit okay. There's yellow. There's orange. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. Oh my goodness. Oh, and they're gonna fight. And yellow beats orange. Oh, and now we're on playthrough 2 because we've gone 7 days. And now I want to see how different are they? Because okay, so yellow lands, so they both take the other castle. Yellow lands in that same spot every time? Question mark? Okay, and they explore in the same way. Oh, but this time this other hero comes out to play. That's interesting because there are changes from map to map. If you have like random monsters or random resources or objects, like all sorts of things can just change the way this plays. Yellow now scouts this. So yellow feels a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser. Oh, this time yellow can't reach. That's so crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Who designed this? You guys are freaking insane. You are you are crazy. That is cool. That is wonderful. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. We're going to load a map and we're going to go to, not my map. We're going to go to, what's a map that I know pretty well? Geez, let's go one of the sprightly maps from Tundar. Let's go sprightly Sandro. So at this point, it's a huge map and you start over here. No, over here. You start somewhere over here. Yeah. And so can I do this here as well? Auto playtest. I'm going to set the parameters. I'm just going to say it's 1 playthrough. I'm going to go max speed. I'm just going to go a little bit faster, like 2 weeks. Animation, sound effects, go. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Okay, we got to do that again, but we got to go a little bit slower. Like 8. Oh my goodness, because it's playing all the sides. So you got blue and purple. Those are the 2 playthroughs. I don't know why the other purple heroes are just stationary. Hold on, click. Yeah, we're going to interrupt this playtest. It'll take place on this next turn. Oh, that's so cool because like some of the other purple Lunas, yeah, they're like immovable somewhere. But I mean, as proof of concept, that is crazy. That is wild. I love this. Okay, and so the fact that this also works retroactively with old maps is actually insane. I wonder how many map makers. There's a Luna. Is she on patrol? Yeah. She can't move at all. She can only patrol 0 squares, so that's why they weren't moving. That's why there's only 1 and 1. I wonder how many map makers are going to go back now and like fix their maps and like re-look at them and re-examine them to see how they can make them even better. Oh my goodness. What a absolute treat. What a real true highlight. That is nuts. Good job, fheroes2 team. You are, that's cool. Our next major improvement is the AI. Heroes now make better decisions on the adventure map by staying in castles to gain movement bonuses. They handle opponents with mirrored monsters more effectively during battle and correctly use the teleport spell on monsters affected by Berserk. Moreover, AI turns have become even faster without affecting their gameplay logic. Now that's cool. All around that's cool. So adventure map, always cool when the fheroes2 team injects a little bit of the heuristical design that allows their AI to be even better. Like sometimes they will say, okay, this is the way it is working right now, and then we're going to like just change a couple numbers, or we're going to program in some specific practices or behaviors. And so interesting that they're injecting some interesting new stuff. Heroes trying to use movement bonuses, that was always kind of a thing. Depending on the role, sometimes the fheroes2 hero will go back to the castle and try to be there on day 1. So now it looks like they're going to try to make sure that they're in the castles a little bit more frequently at the best times to get the most movement bonuses. That's interesting. Handling opponents with mirrored monsters more effectively during battles. We're going to take a look at that in just a second because we're going to go into battle only mode, but I'm not exactly sure what that means and how exactly they're going to handle mirrored monsters more effectively, but can use the teleport spell. That's actually nifty. And this is actually a small use case scenario. You're going to teleport your units that are affected by Berserk. Does this thing play like a human or what? If a human did that, they'd be like, I'm so smart. And now the Heroes of Might and Magic 2, fheroes2 AI is doing it. That's nasty. I love it. Okay, moving on. The team also made several UI improvements and overall optimizations. Battle only mode received multiple fixes and minor UI enhancements. The adventure map now supports smooth scrolling. The random map generator was improved to prevent invalid object placement. Very big. The Android devices can now extract all game assets directly from the GOG installer. Good old games, wonderful. And in addition, we reduced startup times, especially noticeable on low-end devices, and further optimized the engine's RAM usage. In total, the team closed over 30 issues since the last release. Do you think that the fheroes2 team saw that RAM was getting out of hand, like the price was getting out of hand, and they were like, let's just do this. It's not necessary for the majority of people, but we're going to do it anyway. That's awesome. fheroes2 team, you've done a wonderful job. This is a fantastic patch note, not just this one, but the one from May. You're absolutely cooking. And to everybody that is interested in this project, go and check them out on the GitHub. Check them out here on their fheroes2 Discord. It's a wonderful place to hang out with nice, wonderful, friendly people. And man, if you love Heroes of Might and Magic like I do, yeah, I got a feeling that these are going to be your type of people. So folks, do me a huge favor. Look after you, look after your friends, look after your family. Take very good care of yourself until I see you again. The pleasure of being here is mine. I'll catch you around. Probably after I start playing with this map editor a little bit more. Yeah, my wife is going to say, where's this guy at? I'm going to be busy for a little bit. All right. With that being said, bye now.